Obviously by now you've already heard the message and what do we do when we can't do what we want to do? What do you do when you come to the conclusion that what you want to do is never going to happen? Well, that's one of the things we'd like to talk to you about tonight. As we think about moving forward tonight, you'll hear my voice and see various footage of some different projects we'd like to do. I'd like to explain how we arrived at some of those vision projects before we even begin explaining those projects to you. We really wanted 2016 to be the year that we were finally able to pave our parking lot. Been saving for a couple of different years and really thought this was the year that it was going to happen. For whatever reason, the Lord has seen fit to block that project. I'm not exactly sure as to why or what his reasoning is, but I do trust him and know that he knows what's best. Realize man has free choice, but ultimately God is the master of the wind. The Bible says the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water he turneth them whithersoever he will. And so I'm going to take it as the Lord's will for now we not move forward on the full-scale parking lot project. Part of my logic for that is, one, we don't have $500,000. But two, even if we did, I don't believe that'd be a good steward of God's money. If we had $1 million sitting in the bank, I could not in a good conscience lead the church to put $500,000 towards the parking lot. And so the time has come for us to discuss other possibilities. And I mean that literally, just to discuss and to begin thinking about the prospect of relocating our building, of selling this property and relocating to a different place. I love this building. I love what God's done here. I love pastoring here. But the city has made it abundantly clear that in addition to the fees for the parking lot, there's not going to be anything we can change in the building without not bringing all of the building back up to code. That would mean, amongst other things, installing a fire suppression system on the entire building. If we were to, example, try to extend our lobby that I wanted to do, that project alone wouldn't stand alone or by itself. Along with that, we would have to put in this fire suppression system costing multiple thousands of dollars. We'd have to make upstairs and downstairs bathrooms ADA compliant. I'm not against doing those things, but they're just cost prohibitive. It's not feasible. In the end, I believe it would be a better investment of God's money and being stewards of the money he's entrusted us with to at least look into the prospect of relocating to a different building, a different location. Now relax. We're not voting on that tonight. I'm not even suggesting doing that tonight. I just wanted you to understand as we look at some of these projects that we're doing moving forward, we're doing so with the idea whatever we do, we want to be able to have it benefit us now, but also have it be able to benefit us into the future. Which brings us to our first project. Our first project is actually a completion of last year's project. Last year on Vision Night, one of the things we talked about was the purchasing of a bus. And God was able to grant that request. We secured a bus at a great price. We were able to purchase it. And throughout the year, people have been giving to make up for that money. We did not finance anything. We've not financed anything since I've been the pastor here, or since I've even been on staff here. God's been very good to us. We've paid as we've gone across the board. But we borrowed the money from ourselves. And so we still owe $1,035 on the bus, on the shuttle bus. It's been a good bus. We've used it, looking forward to using it in the coming months for the Amen Conference and a couple of different ladies' retreats. We are in the process of booking 2 different overnight trips for our recycled teenagers. And so we're going to get our money's worth out of the bus. We just want to make sure we pay it off as we move forward. So the first $1,035 would be to actually pay off the church bus. The second project, I'm really excited about this one, would actually be the purchasing of new hymn books. Our hymn books have become worn. I don't mean dated. I don't mean, I believe they're almost timeless in a lot of respects. The truths certainly are. So we're not moving away from a hymn book because there's something wrong with it. We want to replace our hymn books that are worn and broken. And then for uniformity and also for expansion, we're going to switch hymn books. We're going to switch to a hymn book that the Smiths both recommended to us. It's a hymn book that has many of the old songs of the faith that our current song doesn't have, hymn book doesn't have. Songs like Mansion Over the Hilltop and It'll Be Worth It All When We See Jesus and How Great Thou Art. These timeless hymns of the faith aren't in our current hymn book, and they are in the new hymn book we'd like to get. All totaled, there's over 200 songs in our proposed hymn book that are not in our existing hymn book. In addition to that, we'd like to get pew Bibles that would allow us to expand the usage of Bibles as people come in if they shouldn't have one or they forgot theirs that day. This total project will cost $2,600. And so the offering on I Love My Church Sunday, February the 14th, our goal is to raise the money for these two projects. $3,635 in a one-time offering, cash offering, check offering that day for these two projects. $3,635 for these two projects, cash offering on that day. That'll benefit us now. That'll also benefit us later. Those hymn books should be used for many, many years to come, and we look forward to being able to do that. Once these two projects have been completed, I'm really excited about our next project, and that is an addition to our current church sign. But as with all things, as technology improves and society grows, there's a need to upgrade and to integrate new technologies and new abilities into the sign. The cost of digital signs has gone down dramatically over the last 4 or 5 years. Think about it this way. A 30-inch TV that I purchased 6 years ago, I bought for $600 on sale. It was regularly $1,000. That same TV today would be $100. Same thing's true with digital signs. The cost has gone down tremendously. Now we want to make sure that we stay compliant with the city's rules and regulations, so we have to use this existing housing, this existing structure here. We're going to make significant alterations to it. We would like to take our sign as it currently is constructed and where it is currently constructed and turn it into a fully digital sign. We'll do this by purchasing 2 digital signs, one for each side, and attaching it to the current sign as it currently sits. The bottom half of the sign will have the church logo, the times of our services, and also an update about our Spanish department and welcoming people to that Spanish service. The top part would be the digital sign that would be 2 different lines, full color display, so we could have pictures, etc. across there that would rotate through various messages. We could actually change the messages with the app on our phone as opposed to having to go out there and manually do it. Very thankful for the work Miss Becky's done over the years, and this will make that job a lot easier. And the great thing is, because we're already there, the city can't stop us. There's no permits that need to be pulled. We're changing and modifying an existing church sign. We're staying under the cost features for it, and so we'll be able to be right where we currently are without any problems. It'll update us significantly, and as we move forward as a church, if the Lord should choose to bring us to a different location, those digital signs would be able to be brought with us even wherever we might end up. Our church sign can easily be paid for. We've broken it down this way. If we can get 20 families to participate $10 a week between I Love My Church Sunday and Friend Day, which is September 25th, that's 32 weeks. Just $10 a week from 20 different family units, we could more than cover the expense of the sign. Would you pray about partnering with us for at least the $10 a week so that we might be able to not only get the sign, but secure it in time to have it up as an invitation and a welcome to our Friend Day on September the 25th. Now, in all of these projects, we haven't forgot about our mud pit. Our parking lot. So we've got to do something to improve the quality of it. Unfortunately, everything we're about to suggest will not be as good as what we originally intended. But it'll still allow us to move forward, and it'll be way, way better than what we currently have. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in a crew to scrape off the existing top layer of soil. They've already taken the measurements and all of the logistics to know exactly how much to remove so that everything would be uniform and level. This will do several things for us, not the least of which is that it'll provide a better foundation for what we're going to do a little bit later. Then we're going to build up the side closest to the church so that all of the water runoff will take us away from the building, hopefully eliminating some of the seepage we've had in the basement over the years, and definitely eliminating the puddles of water and pools of water that have gathered around the handicap ramp and some of the other areas of our church. After we do that, we're going to bring in more recycled asphalt than we ever have before. The most we've ever brought in is 3 trucks. We're prepared to bring in as many as is necessary to lay a thick base down. After we do that, we're going to have it treated and then bring in a steamroller to go over the top of it. My understanding and all the research I've done has said that this will pack it down so tight it'll be as close to a paved parking lot as one can be without it possibly being paved. In addition to these improvements of the parking lot, we're also going to expand it. If you notice right over here to my right, there is an area where often on Sundays cars just park in the grass and the dirt. This area has never had blacktop on it. It's never had recycled asphalt on it. We will be putting recycled asphalt down, even with the furthest yellow bus, all the way back to the edge of the property. That way we'll have more parking and less mud as we move into the future. But there's one final thing I'd like to show you about our proposed changes to the parking lot, and I think some of our older folks are really going to like this one. In addition to the betterment projects of the entire parking lot, we've decided that we are going to take this section right here that I'm standing on, typically would be referred to as the handicap parking area, extending from the beginning of the sidewalk all the way down to the handicap ramp down there. It's approximately 60 feet. We're going to go 60 feet by 15 feet and actually pave it. We're going to concrete it. So yes, will our whole parking lot be paved? No. But there'll be spaces up here for approximately 12 vehicles that allow them to park without having to walk through the mud at all. We can do so because the city says that we can. We're completely compliant with the city and the city regulations of that side, that it'll be better for some. Now we realize not everyone's going to be able to park there, but for our senior citizens and particularly for our handicapped folk, sure would be a lot easier to walk on a paved concrete parking lot than it would be walking through mud and so on and so forth with walkers and wheelchairs, canes, etc. And so I'm really excited about that portion of the project. At least part of it will be nice. Throughout the week as people work here, they'll be able to park there as well. So it'll aid many areas and many facets of things. People will be able to pull up and have some of their family get off onto dry ground, paved parking as they walk in and then go over and park back at the recycled asphalt. As we think about moving forward, I'm asking you to pray that in addition to the money we already have in the fund, which by the way is sufficient to cover the current parking lot upgrades, but that we might be able to move forward. If our church really is to relocate, that'll be very expensive. The only way to do that would be to sell this property, as I see it, would be to sell this property, purchase another property, retrofit it to fit our needs, or even build on it to suit our needs. To do all of that's going to require funds. And so I'm asking you to pray about it. What would God have you to do? You could call it the parking lot fund, and it'll go to the parking lot. It just maybe not be the parking lot at 2420 LaPorte Avenue. It may be a parking lot at some other location. My goal is to eventually have a house of worship where we can come in and honor the Lord and preach and sing from our new hymn books, the old hymns, and have people be able to do so in a parking lot that didn't get their feet all muddy as they walk in. Not because that's a requirement to serve God, but just because we want to move forward. We want to do things decently and in order. So would you pray about, in addition to a weekly commitment for the sign, in addition to the one-time I Love My Church offering for the hymn books and the paying off of the bus, would you consider a monthly allotment or a weekly allotment to the parking lot or the vision program, just moving forward, so we might be able to take care of not only the current parking lot project, but also even in addition to that, without even having to touch what we currently have in savings under the Vision Fund. We want to move forward. We want to do more. To do that, we need God's blessings, and He'll do that through your help. So those are our projects. That's what we want to do. The question is, are you going to be a part of helping us move forward? And part of the vision, part of the goal, part of the future of Calvary Baptist Temple in 2016. Many of these projects will outlast you. They'll outlast me. And they'll be here until Jesus comes back or until some other preacher comes up and raises money for something else. Thank you for your participation. I trust you'll genuinely seek the Lord's will as to what He would have you do on the I Love My Church offering, February the 14th.